My name is Simeen Mahmud, and I work in Bangladesh in the BRAC University, in the institute which is BRAC Development Institute, which is a very new institute which was just got launched last year. And the citizenship DRC research is located in that institute. What we have been doing is now actually trying to sort of gather our thoughts and winding up in certain ways. And one of the things we did was to synthesize the research that we've been doing for over the last 2.5-3 years, looking at the effect of development NGOs working at the grassroots level, and to what extent are they actually contributing to the process of deepening democracy. And in order to do that, we've looked at the mobilization strategies of these organizations, because they vary quite a lot. On the one extreme, you have the very minimalist microfinance organizations, and on the other extreme, you have the more broader social mobilization organizations. And in between, you have a combination of both social mobilization and microfinance or other services. So we have a range of organizations, and we'll want to look at the different strategies of organizations in mobilizing people at the grassroots, and to what extent they are actually producing citizenship practices, new types of practices, if any. And we find that, not unexpectedly, that the social mobilization organizations perform better on the citizenship or democratic types of outcomes, but they also do perform quite well on the developmental outcomes. And that came as a bit of a surprise to us, because we thought that it would be only the service delivery or the microfinance development organizations which would be producing developmental outcomes. These organizations working at the grassroots mobilize people around certain issues. Some of them mobilize around rights, some of them mobilize around services, mainly financial services. But in the process of mobilizing, they're actually bringing people together, raising awareness of rights, some of them directly, some of them indirectly. And they are contributing to creating associations and groups for people at the grassroots. And in the context of Bangladesh, poor people, marginalized people do not have associations and groups that they can join or they can be members of. So it's creating a space for them to come together, to reflect, to think. And sometimes it is having intended outcomes, sometimes it is having unintended outcomes. For the rights-based or the social mobilization organizations, some of the intended outcomes are the more democratic or citizenship outcomes. For example, greater willingness to participate in public life and community life, greater willingness to engage with the local government, engage with government officials at the local level, greater participation in elections and votings and campaigning, greater participation in protests against social injustice, protest against violation of people's rights, or in general protesting against, in order to claim services from the government. So those we would call more the democratic or citizenship types of outcomes, which sort of change the relationship between the state and the citizen. The other type of outcomes are the more developmental outcomes, which have to do more with people's livelihoods. So to what extent are they actually able to improve their earning capacities, improve their asset base and asset position? To what extent are they able to access services like health and education services? To what extent are they able to increase their savings? So things like that, which are more measures of whether poverty is being reduced and whether people are becoming economically better off. We've used some of this work also to develop, among a number of communication strategies, to develop a course which we want to include at the master's level, optional course on citizenship and development, which incorporates a lot of the work, Bangladesh citizenship work, but also will try to draw upon the citizenship research in some of the other countries in the DRC. And the purpose of, well, not the purpose, but one of the sort of goals of this course will be to actually start the conversation on citizenship in Bangladesh, which is at the moment we think is missing, and start the discourse and the debates around citizenship in the context of Bangladesh, and especially engage youth, young people, who and try to bring them into the conversation and into the debate.